Hello and welcome to today's episode. I'm joined again by Annie Mcneely, who is the ISO 9001 practitioner. Hello, Annie.
Hi, Christina.
How are you? All right today?
I'm very well, thanks. And you?
Yes, great. Looking forward to today's podcast.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Right. So keeping on with our ISO 9001 and GDPR theme, today we're going to discuss why it is important and beneficial for an organization to have a process-driven approach. Annie, you go first this time.
Okay, so regardless of whether we're talking about ISO or quality management or GDPR, a process approach is a sound and well-established methodology or mindset even for any business. And it can be applied across an entire operation. Sometimes people think of processes as an operation or a manufacturing kind of requirement, but actually across an entire business, regardless of what they do, taking a process approach is really beneficial. And again, that's been proven time and time again. It's been researched by academia. There's entire disciplines that all they do is process management. And the reason it's so beneficial is because it offers so many improvements in a business. It gives you consistency. It gives you predictable results. It improves your efficiency, speed, output, all that sort of stuff. You get more effective training. It gives you control. It allows when things do go wrong, it gives you something to work back to and identify the fault and manage it out. It's very difficult to argue against using processes in a business. Now, having said that, in my role, and probably in yours as well, I would guess, you do come up against resistance to putting processes in place. And the arguments that I hear against processes are, oh, we don't need them, we're only a small business, or it's too bureaucratic, or we haven't got time to do that, or, all of these, it's not part of our culture. I hear those sorts of things quite often, as I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah. Yes.
To effectively implement a process approach, it really requires leadership to support it. So the step one of overcoming those objections is to get the top management of an organization on board with it. And actually under ISO, one of the requirements of top management is a specific clause about leadership. And one of the requirements is that leadership support a process approach in the business.
Yeah.
But you're still going to get people on the ground who grizzle and complain. The approach that I take when I come across those things is obviously I mention all of those benefits and still you'll get some resistance, but it's really a case of getting what you can in place and then demonstrating the benefits. And usually once people get involved with it, they get on board. But you do hear a lot of negativity around processes.
Yeah.
Because of how
they're absolutely, yes. And you have to do it sort of, in little by chunks.
Yeah, absolutely. Not too much too soon because it just overwhelms people and then they kick back. So
I tend to do, let's do the quick wins so that I can get them on board and sort of, oh, this is good. And then they want to do more. And that's kind of how you win them over.
Yeah.
But yes, and leadership is definitely key. And again, it is one of the accountability element within GDPR as well, leadership, accountability. And with regard to processes, actually, the laws agrees with that in terms of the processes, because the GDPR actually provides us with specific steps for an organization to follow with, in connection with data breaches and subject access requests. But for me, it goes beyond that. And if I take one of my longest clients, we've actually embarked in the process mapping project. And this is other qualifications like you do, Annie, another experience, one of which is my Lean Six Sigma. So I use my Lean Six Sigma expertise when it comes to process reengineering and process mapping.
Yeah.
And what this exercise has done is actually given clarity to the staff across the board
100%.
in terms of what they are required to do, and understanding that what they do, that the step that they're responsible for actually support something else further down the process.
Yeah, part of a bigger picture. Yeah.
That's right. It sort of also aids the onboarding of new staff.
100%.
And like you said, it has identified areas of improvement where we have either removed some steps because they were just not bringing any benefit, or we automated some others, or we actually standardized certain things, which ultimately has actually led to higher productivity, happier staff, happier clients. So all in all, an improvement across the board. And one of the things that really sort of the client was quite taken aback because we were doing this mapping, that some time ago a member of staff left the organization, and that particular step of the process was actually dropped because nobody understood.
Yeah, wasn't documented anywhere.
Yes. What this did actually is sort of identify the fact actually that step was important because it actually brought value to the client. Quite interesting to see that. And so we have re-engineered the process, whereas we don't necessarily need to bring another person in, but we have readjusted it so that the activities that the individual was doing is now being redistributed across the process. And again, they are working, efficiently and effectively. And having them documented is also important. Like you say, it allows the organization to measure, the efficiency and the effectiveness of that process. It allows to facilitate business and service continuity. And actually, business continuity is one of the topics that you and I are going to be discussing in future episodes. Keep an eye on our future podcast. Annie, if someone would like to contact you to understand more about the ISO and the process associated with that, how can they contact you?
So they can Google my business name, which is AMC ISO Services. That's ISO Services. They'll find me on LinkedIn under Annie Mcneely, which is ANNIE MCN for November EELY, or they can look me up on my website.
Thank you very much, Annie. And if anyone of the audience would like to know more about GDPR and how to apply to their business, I can be reached at info@cvgsolutions.co.uk. Alternatively, on social media, I am on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. I have a business page, so just search CVG Solutions, or alternatively, my name. Or you can also look me up on my website, which is cvgsolutions.co.uk. Thank you very much for listening, and see you all in the next episode.